You're listening to Podcast BXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 138. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roshan Warner, at Roro, the host of Large Popcorn and video essayist, Christian Macias, at ISO Christian, and one half of the Men in Gitch podcast, Gage Dempster, is out with heat exhaustion, or heat, what is the correct term? Heat stroke. Yeah.
Yeah, did you see his neck?
Not good.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. Yes. Get better, Gage, please. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, twitch.tv/Podcast PXN, and Twitter as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is a bunch of game industry news that is heating up real good. I don't know. That was a terrible little pun. A bunch of earnings reports, news, and some implications that will come out of those news items. But first, the show always starts with the PXN Quick Bites. I almost said the wrong thing.
I know.
So let's go ahead and jump right in. Guys, the first item on the PXN Quick, damn it, I did it again. Quick Bites. On the Quick Bites, we've got Blizzard news, and for once, it's actually some good news, guys. Blizzard has hired its first vice president of culture to make themselves more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. Jessica Martinez joins Blizzard after 14 years at the Walt Disney Company. And essentially they're saying that they want to implement their culture strategy, ensuring alignment across all teams and functions, and revamping learning and talent development programs. When you create a people-first environment where teams feel safe, valued, and work together toward a shared purpose, everyone thrives, the employees, the players, and the business, Martinez says. So, yeah, this is great news. Obviously, a much-needed development from Activision Blizzard, and as I think we've alluded to in the past, Blizzard's made more attempts at that than Activision has on that side of it, so... but yeah, this is a good step for Blizzard.
Yep. More of this, please.
Yes. Yeah, I would like more of this, please, so I don't feel guilty, and I can play Overwatch when it comes out. But as it stands, I still want to see some more change. But yeah, awesome steps are being taken over at Blizzard, as you said, Dan. But Activision, please follow suit. Get rid of Bobby. We don't need him. They don't need him.
Well, Ro, you want to play Overwatch 2? Just play Overwatch 1. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Moving on. A new Mafia game, guys, is reportedly in development, and it is apparently a prequel to the original trilogy, and it's being made in Unreal Engine 5. This news comes as studio head Hayden Blackman and COO Matthew Urban has left the company. And there was a statement by him as well. But I think this is kind of cool. I'm very intrigued. I think Mafia 3 didn't quite hit the mark that I wanted it to. As someone who was a freaking huge Mafia 2 fan, I loved that game so much. And even the first one was a pretty good game as well. So I really hope that this game kind of harks back to like those first two games quite a bit more. I'm very interested. I don't know. Christian had a weird look on his face. I was waiting for like he was gonna deliver something cool, but I think he's
no. I mean, yeah, Mafia. Sorry, no. It's you'll find out later in a second.
Okay.
It's part of the surprise.
Yeah, I should play a Mafia game. Is my takeaway because there's an incredible clip from I think Mafia 3. I forget what's the main character's name. Like coming across a.
It's been so long since I've played it. I don't
remember.
Anyway, I know like Emmett like really loves Emmett Watkins Jr. loves Mafia games and Lincoln, yeah, and like he says they're cool games, and I respect his opinion on games, so I should check out more Mafia games. Cool stuff.
And Lincoln was like one of the bright spots for Mafia 3. Like Mafia 3's problems were in its open world. Like it was a very bland open world. I thought that, they just didn't give you much to do. So, moving on, guys. The Summer Game Fest that Jeff Keighley is hosting, of course, it's to coincide or team up with, I guess, his Game Awards that happens in December. This is his summer event, has a date for their live show, and it is going to be Thursday, June 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific. And it's also going to show up in IMAX theaters again, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think we're gonna stream this on the channel. I don't know who all's gonna be there, but I think
I'll be in the theaters.
Christian will be in the theater.
I'll probably be streaming along with you guys.
Yes.
I have a take. You ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Summer Game Awards is probably one of the best showcases we've seen in the recent years. Last summer, Jeff absolutely delivered. Great pace, great showcase of games. Probably even better than the Game Awards, to be honest. And I'm excited for this year.
Christian,
Definitely.
what can be better than the Game Awards? We were there.
True.
That's true. Yeah, we got to see Alexander Iron Fist, aka Pop Boy, in the flesh.
And I love the IMAX theater aspect of being able to have that communal thing that the in-person event would have been able to bring to a lot of people. So that'll be a lot of fun to get like maybe an audience reaction off of really hyped games and just having that community thing. I think that's really cool.
Have you guys been to a theater showing? Like I went to a PlayStation E3 one, and it was incredible.
Yeah. There was a PlayStation Experience one that I was supposed to go to, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, I want to do one of these days. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, here we go. We're gonna play hooky, and we'll all Periscope PXN in different theaters.
Yeah.
Nice. And I'm sure they'll actually be fine with it. That's the one time that you could have your phone in the theater.
Yeah. Like camaraderie, if I could speak, camaraderie in those theaters, I'm sure it would be really cool to kind of be together for that. So,
yeah.
Moving into our next story, guys, original WWE developer Ukes has announced that they have a brand new AEW game coming called AEW Fight Forever. I just included this not because I'm a wrestling game fan or anything like that, but I thought it was interesting because Ukes was the longtime developer of the WWE games, and then 2K basically took their contract away and said, "Nah, we'll just do this internally now. Like, we don't need you guys anymore." And so then they went to the number one rival for WWE to say, "Hey, we want to make a game for you, and we have quite a bit of experience with this." So I thought it was interesting to now see them fighting against themselves, so to speak.
Not the only sports game to be fighting against its former dev, as we'll talk about later.
True. Moving on from that story, guys, I thought this was another cool little tidbit here. Fortnite is officially arriving on Xbox Cloud Gaming as of now. And so now essentially this is the first time in a very long time that iPhone and iPad owners can now play Fortnite on their phones and tablets through xCloud, which is interesting. It's an interesting way to get around the whole Apple Store issue that they were having, and they went into legal battle with Apple over Apple and Epic. And also it's
still ongoing too, right?
What's that?
The lawsuit, isn't that not still ongoing as well?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is this is the first free-to-play game on xCloud. Well, it's not called xCloud. Xbox Cloud Streaming. It's so much harder to say that.
Should have been nice. Yeah, I think xCloud is pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, more free-to-play games maybe will be coming in the future as well. Be interesting.
Yeah. I think it's good that you don't need like gold and all that stuff as well, or whatever the payment thing. You could just play for free. You don't need an account. Just go ahead and play through our system. And hopefully it leads to more games like this, more free-to-play games available, and just more games in general available this way. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Christian, have you seen the movie District 9?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
That was quick.
I knew where you were going.
All right.
Yeah. I love this guy.
Okay. So District 9 director Neil Blomkamp has officially announced that he has a new game coming. It's a cyberpunk battle royale game, which sounds interesting. It's called Off the Grid. It pits 150 players against each other, but it also has PvE story missions that will also take place in the map in real time, with player actions affecting how the story and therefore other people's gameplay unfolds. Crafting and customization will also be a key component, with players encouraged to trade items with one another, which I'm not sure how that works in a battle royale. Like, hey, don't kill me, I just want to trade with you real quick. I'm not sure what that looks like, but yeah, it sounds very interesting to kind of expand on battle royale genre.
Ask me my opinion and what you got for me.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, have you played it?
No, of course I haven't played it. Of course I haven't played it.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Moving to our next story, guys. The FTC is officially probing Sony's. I can't speak today, guys. Sony's Bungie acquisition as gaming merger oversight gets more aggressive. Obviously, we've seen in recent I'm continuing my streak here. Recent weeks that the FTC has been further and further investigating the Activision and Microsoft deal. So now it seems that they are, putting their eyes towards this as well. And this is reportedly going to push back the deal into early 2023 until it gets completed for Bungie and Sony, if this does in fact get approved by the FTC. I'm assuming it has to be approved as well, but very interesting to see this, and I'm curious as to what the result's going to be between the Activision thing and this, and especially in this case, like Bungie is still acting independently, right? Like it's basically Sony just wants the profits off of Bungie essentially, and the experience of games as a service. Like, is that what you guys feel as well?
That's what I felt. Oh, sorry, bro.
No, I was just going to agree. Yeah, like I think they bought Bungie not for the games, not for Destiny, but for like the talent there and to help them make their live service games or whatever else in the future. The technology, as you said as well. So yeah, I don't know. Why do you think they're investigating this? Just because of how Blizzard was handled, I guess. They're just worried about the future of video game acquisitions. I don't know. It seems like yeah.
I think there's a renewed focus with the FTC focusing on less like tech mergers in general to like basically not make the big get bigger, I guess, is the focus.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting nonetheless. Next up, guys, we've got some more Halo stories here. Of course, I gotta throw it in here. But this is a cool one. There's an Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month free nameplate and emblem that they are giving away for this month, which is super cool. I thought that was really cool for Halo Infinite, in case that wasn't clear. Also, the Halo TV series is getting tie-in items that are also free. There's like 6 items. There's some weapon charms and stuff like that you can get that are derived directly from the TV series, which is cool. And also, Joseph Staten, who is like head of creative at 343 for Halo Infinite, has teased that some remade fan favorite maps from previous games will be coming to Halo Infinite. He didn't explicitly say that, but he was on Kind of Funny's XCast, and he was talking about how, people like these older maps. Like, we might be doing something, maybe. So, yeah, that'll be really cool to try to get some new maps in Halo Infinite quicker, and I feel like that would be a nice way to do that.
Halo Infinite is such a sly little fox of a video game for me, And you may ask, what do you mean by that? I don't even know. But no, okay, I do know. What I mean is, like, the fans who are invested in that game are invested, right? And they're the most vocal about it, both positive and negative. But from the outside looking in, it's very hard to get a read on what the state of player base is. Because like I'll see some big names tweeting about like how like this game should have still been delayed further, and like it's still a ways away. But then I see like other people tweeting about like how like actually they're sorry, not Bungie. 343 is like making like the proper steps to like getting an actual like content drop more frequent, and like the stuff that they have is good. The new season is great, so it's like it's still so hard to get a read on this game for me.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Sorry, I was gonna say I know it's been mixed because of since the release, as Christian was saying, and how how Master Chief Collection launch wasn't super great. Still, it's the same people, right? 343 did Master Chief Collection too, right?
They didn't develop it, but yes, they oversaw it. They weren't the developer for Master Chief Collection. But,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, as someone looking in, and obviously not really in the weeds of Halo and all that kind of stuff, I think they really love Halo and they really care about that franchise. And I was impressed with how much they stuck with Master Chief Collection instead of abandoning it and updating it and just adding some really cool stuff. Like Dan, you were telling me about like the arcade like editions. Like they added some skins, I think, and some maps from like an arcade game that not a lot of people even knew about, but they added it for the fans, and I just thought that was really cool. And I think they're trying to do that here. Of course, I'm someone on the outside, but I think they're just playing catch up right now. But I think it'll be in a really good place eventually.
Yep, agreed. And yeah, at the end of the day, the game probably should have been delayed, but that's not a call that 343 makes, in my opinion. Anyways, I think that's a call that Microsoft would make, and especially after they delayed it a whole year already. It's like at a certain point, Microsoft's like, we got to release this, whether it's ready or not. Here we go. But yeah. So moving into our next story, guys, EA is getting back into making Lord of the Rings games. So they announced this by saying we've got a brand new mobile game coming, apparently, which is what everyone wants, right? This game
it's a mobile Lord of the Rings game?
Yes.
I don't want to care about this news anymore.
Yeah. I know. It's being made in partnership with Middle-earth Enterprises, as the image suggests, and will be solely inspired by Middle-earth as described in the literary works of J.R.R. Tolkien, according to Chief Brand and Licensing Officer Frederica Drotos. But anyways, this is Heroes of Middle-earth is the name of the game. Will feature immersive storytelling, turn-based combat, deep collection systems, and a wide roster of characters. But yes, I literally just put this in here to say, give us a freaking new Battle for Middle-earth game, EA. I miss those games.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Dan. Just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding, of course. I'm here to campaign for the return of the GameCube and PS3 era Lord of the Rings games, because those were co-op and you play through the plot of the movies with friends, and I would argue that the Two Towers game is better than the Two Towers movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Dang. And that's coming from the film snob. So
the snob?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that negatively. I just mean
my God.
You're the film...
The film buff.
Yes, buff. Sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean that negatively.
My God.
Didn't you?
You know what? This week I saw Dan on Letterboxd update one of his lists, and I commented like, "Oh, it's so nice to see you on this on LB." I take it back, bro.
Wow.
I take it back.
Wow.
I don't want you on this site.
I only have one list on there. It's the MCU ranked list. But
I'm gonna go comment on it again.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm sorry. But you know what? You deserve it. After all the stuff you give me when you host, you know what?
That's fair.
I take it back. You deserve it. All right, moving on, guys. We got a look at an interesting demo. It's of Echu Daemon Station in Toyama, and it has been reproduced in Unreal Engine 5. And my goodness, this looks insane. Like, what the heck is... I want to know what kind of machine is running this game. It looks like photorealistic.
The daytime for me looks way more realistic than the nighttime. Like the nighttime, I can start seeing the video gamey kind of with like the lighting effects. But in the daytime, it looks like a real station. It is insane.
It's pretty crazy. I can't wait to see what And you wrote here, Dan, like what kind of hardware is running this? Like it's got to be some crazy spec'd out personal computer. It has to be insane, but I just like I can't wait to play games like this. I don't want all games to look like this, but getting fully immersed into something like this is going to be, especially for horror and just like that'll be awesome. It looks crazy. If you haven't seen this video, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of how freaking good PT looked on PS4.
Yeah.
I don't know if did anyone play PT, or at least look at videos of PT.
I watched some videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wish Konami wasn't a jerk. Did you know they blacklisted PS5 from having access to PT? So even if you have like the game downloaded and you transfer it to your PS5, like you can't access it.
Yeah.
Why are they like this?
Sorry, go ahead.
I just said, why are they like this?
Oh, why are they like this? I was just saying that I downloaded PT and then I deleted it because I played it for a couple of seconds and I realized that I'm not brave enough to play it. But after they removed it from the store, I was like, man, I should have just kept it because now it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not going to play it, it would be nice to just have on the menu. Yeah.
So I had it on my PS4, and then, like you said, Christian, I tried to get it on my PS5, and I was like, "Oh, that's so disappointing." And I ended up I sold my PS4 on eBay, so I wiped it. It's gone.
Why, dude? That's like, oh my god, that makes me mad. We talk all this stuff about game preservation. Here we are deleting our games.
Hey, wait a minute.
Them.
It's not on us to have game preservation. That's on Konami and Sony and those guys.
You're not wrong, but I can only get mad at you right now.
Kirik Craft is in the chat. Hello, gentlemen. What's up, Kirik? Thank you for joining us. Our next story, guys, there is a leaked version of Duke Nukem Forever from 2001, which is just 4 years into its development. And of course, this game, it took about 20 years for it to come out. So yeah, this is kind of insane to actually look at this. Apparently, the leaker allegedly built an editor to get this version of Duke Nukem Forever working and plans to release the full version in June. Almost every level is present in some form, according to the post, though some with missing enemies and other content, and most weapons are fully functional. This game looks nothing like the Duke Nukem Forever we got from Gearbox, who finally finished the game up, which is not surprising, obviously, because it was 20 years in development. But yeah, kind of interesting to see this.
It feels like a piece of history you can access and play if you so wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that leaker's doing some good game preservation work for a game that didn't come out.
I love that the IGN news article on this this is the end cap. In our 5 out of 10 review, IGN said there's some dumb fun to be had at Duke Nukem Forever.
Real dumb fun. This next story is definitely for Ro, because I know he loves Dead Space. New Dead Space remake developer diary that is focusing on the art design is set to stream tomorrow, which is very intriguing. I think as Christian is praising everyone right now, I am on your team here, Christian. I've been excited to see every one of these dev diaries. It's really cool to see this kind of stuff, especially that audio deep dive. That was really cool to.
That one I think was my favorite. I think,
and the feedback that they got from that they like changed a couple weapons because fans were like, well, that doesn't sound quite like what we remember, like what we like, and they ended up changing it. It was super cool.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
As you said, Dan, it's totally for me. I know you were joking, but the game is too spooky for me. But I can definitely appreciate it, and I love the design for Isaac's like suit. Like the art in Dead Space is awesome. I think it's really cool. I think horror in general has some really awesome monster designs and just like character designs and stuff like that. I'm just too spooked to play it. So this video, I could definitely see myself tuning in to just admire the art for sure.
One thing I want to praise real quick too is like normally I like when video games aren't announced too early and they kind of go quiet, but other times I actually really like when they're announced earlier, and then like devs are open about their development process, just because like a lot of times we don't know like what it actually takes to develop these kinds of stuff. So you just mentioned the sound video, like that was very cool to see how they're doing like real-time sound effects, like, and how rooms and objects affects those sounds, and like makes me appreciate video game development on a whole different level. So
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
praise.
I love when Bungie did it for, or does it for, like their Vidocs for new expansions. They do some really cool deep dives in how they make the game, and they do like sound stuff too. It's like really cool. I remember like one of the guns was made with a breast pump because everybody was working at home, and one of the sound effects was using like a breast pump. And like, this is wild stuff. How do video games get made? It's insane.
Really cool Foley stuff. I did some cool stuff with Foley audio in one of my college classes, and that was some of the most fun things. Like, you just get to make sounds to try to match a scene. It's so cool.
It's too hard.
It is
like,
hard. Yes.
How you came up with those stuff is like insane to me.
Yeah.
I respect those people.
Absolutely. Moving into our next one, guys. Gotham Knights has officially canceled its last-gen versions of the game. So Xbox One, PS4 versions of the game have been canceled. Plus, we got a new look at the game. I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are. There's a lot of mixed reception that I saw online. Some people were like not so happy with how this game looks like, very much like a deep RPG. It's almost like I don't know what the right word is. Like you're looking for equipment to upgrade and stuff, almost Avengers-esque.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously this game has had a bit of a development turmoil, up and down experience. But are you guys interested in at all, or are you kind of?
Would you like to go first, Ro?
Sure. I'll go first. I was interested in it. It's like the combat definitely reminded me of Avengers in some places. Definitely better because you're actually landing hits on the bad guys. Even Avengers had a hard time showing off their gameplay. They were like missing like attacks. But anyways, I wasn't too impressed by what I saw, to be honest. There were like, I don't know, the combat didn't seem that fun. It seemed kind of slow to me. And maybe it's just the characters that we saw, but maybe I need to see Batgirl and then that'll win me over. She usually does. But the story looked cool. I like what they're going for with the story, but the moment-to-moment gameplay didn't look super intriguing to me. Honestly, yeah. That's just me. I love the Batman Arkham games. I don't know why this isn't speaking to me, but it's just, maybe it is the gear score stuff. Like, I just want to play the game instead of having to grind as well.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Christian.
Okay, yeah, sorry. For me, like, I don't know. When it was first announced and I saw that it was co-op, it was like the wrong fit for me because I knew like what kind of a co-op experience would look like in this, and it's not what I wanted. But every time they would show off a new game, I would like look for opportunities to like completely change my mind and be interested. And none of them have ever hit. And this was like, I think the final nail in the coffin for me that I'm probably not going to be checking this game out. Part of the reason is the loot system. Like that just is not what I want out of these Batman games. I do think it's a good thing that they canceled the previous gen version so they can focus on this gen, because I think that's going to hopefully like lead to a more refined product. And that is what I think my actual core issue is that the gameplay just doesn't look fun. The combat looks very stiff and clunky. When did Arkham Knight came out? What, like 6-7 years ago? Mm-hmm. You look at videos of that combat, and it looks like way smoother. And I know this is a different developer, but like in 2022, when like a game is releasing like this, and it just looks off, and it looks like it might not feel good, and the systems that they have just don't look fun to me, it's going to end up having to be a pass. And it's kind of a bummer too that people who are looking forward to it being a co-op experience, like, maybe have been misled, because it's now confirmed that it's a two-player co-op and not 4, as we had thought. So there's bummers all around.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk through Gage right now and say, like, why does this game have to have gear scores? Because, of course, there. Somebody on Twitter even said, like, every game doesn't need to have gear score and all this stuff. Like, of course, Assassin's Creed games lately have had that, and it's just like everything is getting inundated with it. I feel like, yeah.
Because like this isn't an RPG. We don't need that kind of stuff in this. Like,
Yeah.
just let an action game be an action game.
For sure.
And I really hate when gear score. I mean, they do it in Destiny too, but you could like now you can change how your character looks. But I hate when the gear that is stronger than the gear that you have also affects how you look. So now you have to like look weird to be stronger. It's like stop it, stop it. I just want to look cool.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
That used to drive me insane with Destiny, because like early on, the shader system, it was a consumable item, and so like you would consume your shader and you're using it on a piece of gear that you're probably only going to use for like the next 10 minutes, and then you're going to pick up something else. It's like, but now of course they've improved that where you can use it at any time now. But yeah,
That was early D2.
yes.
For us D1 fans, we know what it was like. We know what it was like.
Yes.
It was the whole thing. One shader for the whole piece.
for everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, our next story. I saw some discourse on this. So Xbox had some downtime this weekend for a couple days. Of course, I wouldn't know because I don't have my Microsoft account still. Because
You're on a permanent downtime.
Yeah, I'll get to that in game. What you got for me or whatever. Where I ran about that. But anyways. I saw some interesting discourse around that. People talking about ownership and digital rights and stuff like that. So I thought it was important to try to clear it up a little bit, because while the system is not perfect or anything, I'm definitely not saying like this is like a foolproof system. There was some misconception or misinformation, I guess, out there. People were saying like, if you have to have an online connection to be able to play all your games. That's not true. So what happened essentially was people were getting error messages that were saying just like generic messages like you can't access your game or whatever. So when you first access your games on a brand new console, for instance, if I upgrade from a Xbox One to a Series X, you have to launch your game for the first time. If you don't launch your game for the first time, the game doesn't get attributed to your console, your new console. And so like the people that have, their Xbox Series X as their home console, but have never launched any game from it before, we're getting that error because they've literally never launched that game. So essentially you have to launch every game that you play in order to be able to have the license to play it offline on your new console. I don't know if that made sense. I tried to explain it to make it easier than reading this whole thing, but essentially that's what it is. It's still like, I feel like we still don't have a great solution to DRM in general for any console, but I did think that was important to kind of highlight, because people were saying, I have this set as my home console, but I can't play this game. Well, the engineers reported on this. They commented on some threads and said, well, the reason why is because you didn't have the game launched before. Yes, you had it as your home console, but it wasn't launched before. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a tricky thing that we're trying to navigate, I guess, to figure out how to do this the right way.
Yeah, no, I don't even have the answer, because I go back and forth and like there's probably a right way to do DRM, and we just haven't reached it yet. Because I mean, that makes sense though, that you have to launch the game, but I don't personally like that. Like, it's very weird. Like, if you just bought a new console, you have to launch every single game in your category. I mean, they gave away so many games at this point that you probably have like hundreds of games. I'm not going to go through and launch every single one of them.
Right.
But at the same time, like, if that's leading to less kind of piracy, and I'm not getting into piracy because I'm kind of like pro piracy for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I have faith that the engineers are on it, and like Xbox is aware that their DRM isn't perfect, but like, it is kind of a necessary evil for now. And like, I think if they work towards making it better, then like I wouldn't have a problem with it.
And I think, as one of the Xbox engineers said, he said that essentially we need to improve our error messaging because like it wasn't displaying a message that was reflecting like what was actually happening. So like people were getting confused. So obviously that's a problem if you're not communicating to people appropriately why something's not working. You know, like if you lock their account out and not tell them why, you know.
Yeah.
Like
I'll say this, Xbox lads, at least your I don't know, what do you call it? System? No, not system. Software? No. Doesn't sound right. Ecosystem? Help me out. Someone help me out.
I don't know what you're trying to explain
yeah,
yet.
I don't either.
Yeah.
At least Xbox is only down for, I don't know, give or take a day, right?
Right.
Over the weekend. Whereas us PS3 owners, we had a whole month. All right.
That was
we were lied to.
That was insane.
I remember learning the Netflix trick where if you signed in and it like you couldn't access the internet on PS3, but if you hit like cancel, as it tells you that there's no internet, it would like bypass it somehow and still like enter you. So I just watched Netflix for a month. Great.
Nice. Man, that was wild.
It was.
Yes.
They even didn't they give like I remember they gave like LifeLock or something to people, or like one of those things that monitors your make sure no one opens up like new accounts and stuff in your name because of that breach. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
I can't believe they went so long and like just like, all right, fine, it was a security breach.
Yeah.
All your info is out there.
Wild.
Anyway, sorry.
Guys, our last quick bite here. Is Commander Shepard coming back for the next Mass Effect? Because we got, well, apparently a link to the same, it's an update of the same link, but we got a listing on the BioWare store that had basically said that Commander Shepard is going to be coming back for Mass Effect 5 in the description of a Mass Effect 5 poster. But then we've gotten an update now that says BioWare project director Michael Gamble says that the store listing, seemingly implying a return for Commander Shepard in the next Mass Effect, was a simple mistake. On Twitter, Gamble replied to a thread. He said, the original description was written by the people who run the store and aren't familiar with the game. Why? Why would you post this if you don't even know about the game? Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird like writing a synopsis of something that you have no idea about. Yeah. It's not a good idea.
I almost wonder, Ro, if this is like them just like coyly trying to sweep this under the rug, and it's like it's real, but they just don't want to reveal.
Yeah,
it.
I could honestly see it both ways. Like weird things like this happen on the storefronts and all the time, where like descriptions just don't make sense, and sometimes the leaks happen, and the companies have to make up weird stories to not spoil things, or hope that it doesn't spoil things. But I haven't played Mass Effect. I don't know how likely it is that Commander Shepard would be returning or not. But I assume it would be a big deal if he came back.
Yeah.
Or she,
right?
Yeah.
True. It would be a big deal if they come back, yes.
Which, honestly, like, the she version of Commander Shepard is far more, like, lovable than the male version. Like, the male version was such a boring character. He's iconic, for sure, but, like, in practice, Commander Shepard was the least exciting part of Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect, but, like, I mean, it's just Commander Shepard.
I feel like sometimes they put a little bit more effort into one or the other when there are the two choices. Maybe they did that for Commander Shepard, the Lady Shep, I think is what the fans call her. Femshep, yes. And I remember in Assassin's Creed, what was her name? Started with a K. In Val.
Oh.
Was it Valhalla? Or no, it was Origin?
Cassandra. It was
Cassandra,
It was Odyssey. Yeah.
Yes, her character was so much more fun and it's to me expressive than the male version. I was like, you want us to play as Cassandra, and I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Did I play Mass Effect 2?
What? Yes. That's the best one. That's the best one.
I enjoyed my time with the one, and I was like, I don't want any more of this.
Here's the thing, Christian. Here's the thing. I was in the same boat as you when the original Mass Effect came out. I looked at it, I was like, this looks generic. I'm good.
Right.
Mass Effect 2 came out. I bought it because I was interested in it. I started playing like the first hour of it, and I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I stopped playing it, went back to play the first game, and completed the first game before I went back to actually play Mass Effect 2. Such a great game.
But like now in today's age, is it still good? You know, I'm just nervous.
It's been a while since I've played it. To be fair, I haven't played it in the new collection. I've only played the original Mass Effect in the new collection, but I feel like it should hold up. And it's a great game. It's probably in my top 15 or
Two?
so.
Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
It's pretty
High
good.
praise.
Yeah. Guys, into our PXN news of the week here. We have one story that I put in here, but it's a big one. Lots of stuff in here. And it's the Nintendo Indie World event. And I believe I'm going to pass it to you guys to handle this because this is not my expertise whatsoever. And I don't want to sound like, I don't know anything about this. So I'm going to pass it to you guys. Do you guys some indies?
Bro, you actually watched the direct, right? Because I was asleep during it, but I caught like highlights afterwards. You watched?
I did
live?
watch. I did watch live. I watched the Good Vibes Gaming react to Indie World, so I kind of watched it. But yeah, I watched it. It was like, as it says here, it was a 20-minute show. Started at 10 a.m. Eastern time this morning, and they showed a couple indies coming to the Switch. Most coming this summer and in the fall. Yeah, they had some really cool ones. I'm not sure which ones stuck out to you the most, Christian, but for me, Soundfall was the one that kind of spoke to me.
I knew you would like that.
Yeah.
I knew you would like it.
It looks so cool. I mean, obviously the animation at the beginning was really dope, but the gameplay looked like lots of fun. It reminded me of Cadence of Hyrule, that rhythm action or rhythm fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I think the movement isn't based on the music, but like the attacks are. And I think in Cadence of Hyrule, it's a little bit of both, so you can't move unless it's on the beat. But in this, I think you're more so attacking on the beat. And the music looks fun, the character is super cute, and it's like I think it's a roguelike. It's definitely procedurally generated, like the levels. And yeah, it looks super fun. Before I say my next one, I just want to know if Christian, if there's any other ones that you liked.
Yeah, I did want to give a shout out to We Are OFK, which made an appearance this as well, because that's one of my most anticipated indies of the year. And I don't think we had a Switch confirmation that it was coming. We do now, though, obviously,
Yes.
and yeah, very excited. I think it comes out next month, if I remember right. So, but the one that I thought was really cool came right after We Are OFK, which is Silt. Which was like the black and white, kind of almost inside-looking game about the diver. Yeah, that art style for me is like what really sold me on the game, and just like the overall atmosphere. Yeah, right. Yeah, creepy, but like cool, and just like this water movement just has me curious. Famously, water level lover over here.
Yes.
So
water levels don't suck, according to Christian. That one definitely reminded me of Inside. I guess that's an easy comparison because it's black and white, but the vibes definitely gave me Inside / Limbo vibes. It definitely looks really cool. I think the only Cult of Lamb looks really cool. I think that was showing off before though.
Yeah.
But I really liked Aggro Crab's game Treasure.
Oh!
Another Crab's Treasure.
How could I forget that one? Yeah.
That was the one big one before the scissor reel at the end. And it's Christian, like it's like a Souls-like game, but you're playing as a cute crab and you're parrying and dodging. Like sounds like something you would enjoy.
What? Because it's Souls-like?
Yeah.
that part doesn't sell me because I
Oh.
don't think any game really does Souls-like as well as From Software. So I'm always trepidatious when a game is like considered Souls-like because what is Tunic was Souls-like, and I actually thought the Souls mechanics in that game were actually not the best part of it at all. But for me, Another Crab's Treasure, like the art style and some of like the darker water areas and the traversal in those looks super fun.
Yeah, I like the art style too. I love that it's like a Souls-like fighter or fighting or combat game, but like it has the bright, shiny colors of like A Hat in Time or something. Like really cool. Yeah.
And also cute, like the way you use like garbage in the ocean to make a shell for yourself.
Yes,
maybe
I believe
maybe
the
that
story.
acts like an extra hit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's like I forgot how much there was, but there was like a lot of different types of shells that you can put on your crab. So you can put like a can, or I guess all I'm seeing is a thimble is another option, I guess here. But I think the story is that you're trying to get your repossessed shell back. So you lost your shell and you're trying to get it back. And yeah, so you're going through the world using cans and stuff as your shell. It's essentially your shield, I guess, in this game. But yeah, it looks fun. Looks really fun. But that was it for me, really. I saw that Gibbon Beyond the Trees release today on the Switch, and that looks kind of cool. Looked like a fun game. It was in the sizzle reel, so I don't really know too much about it. But yeah, that was
What
kind
are
of
your
it for me.
thoughts? There was another one that I thought really I was like, oh, this is a row kind of game, just Gunbrella,
Oh yeah,
the like
forgot about that. Yeah,
2D sprite game. What'd you think about that one?
that one did look cool. I forgot about that one, which maybe that speaks to how much I want to play it. But it did look cool when I first saw it. When I first saw the trailer, like the combat looked really fun. The traversal looks super fun as well. The art style, yeah, everything about it definitely looks cool. I don't know if I'm itching to play that type of game right now, but that's definitely a game that I may come back to in the future for sure. It's next year, so maybe then I'll be in the mood for it.
Is it funny
Dan.
that I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's a Devolver game.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I love Devolver games, like, or at least I love trying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Famously, though, there's one game missing from today's showcase.
Oh yeah.
No.
I'm sorry.
Will we ever see it? Will we ever see Team Cherry's Silk Song? I just don't know anymore. I still have faith. It's this year. Yeah, you know what? The E3's around the corner. Jeff Keighley
No, it's
gets
not.
Jeff Keighley gets the goods at Summer Showcase. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had Elden Ring last year.
True.
What is bigger than Elden Ring? Fucking Silk Song, baby. Let's go.
Every time a Nindies rolls around and somebody's like Silk Song, it's like, not to shit on the indie world direct, because I love them. They're fantastic. But I think a Silk Song announcement is big. It's like really big to not be here.
What are you saying? Nindies showcases aren't big?
I'm saying Silk Song is huge, is what I'm saying. That announcement is going to be like I want a lot of people to see that. And I don't know if a lot of people are tuning into the Nindies. You know, I feel like Silk Song wants to be at E3 or Jeff Keighley's thing. That's all I'm saying. I think Nindies are great. I just think Cherry wants a bigger audience to announce it. That's all.
Fair. All right, guys. Let's do a little quick fantasy critic draft check-in, Christian. But before we do that, Trek Diomi got some reviews. We got a review roundup here. It's not doing as well as I think we thought it would. I was very surprised because like you guys, I was excited for it as well. It looked like a cool art style, like black and white tone, with some cool aesthetics to it. But yeah, it's sitting at a 73 on OpenCritic right now, which means Christian got 3 points for it. Sorry, Christian.
2 games this month and a total of 5 points. We hate to see it, folks.
We hate to see it. Wait, Switch Sports only got you 2? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Woo. I might just win this yet.
Don't worry. The Cuphead DLC will give me some mighty, I'm hoping for at least 10.
I feel like that's going to do very well for you. But yeah. A little disappointing to see that it didn't do as well as we had hoped, but it's in Game Pass. Check it out still. Free. Or I guess not free, but included.
Yeah. And I have thoughts on this, and what you got for me?
Okay.
Because I played it.
Nice. Okay. So, guys, we've made it to the PXN's best open world game segment. This week, we decided we're going to split things up a little bit. With Gage being out this week, we're going to split it up a bit. So, today, Ro and Christian are going to announce their individual picks, and they're going to beg and plead with you on why you should choose their picks. And then starting this Friday, May 13th, we're going to start the first poll, which I guess we can do Ro first. And so the 13th through the 14th, Ro will have his picks on there. And then the 15th and the 16th, Christian will have his picks on there on a poll on our Twitter page at PodcastPXN. And you'll be able to vote for what your favorite open world game is from their lists, and then once the winners from those lists come out, those will go into our finals picks, which will happen Monday, May 23rd will be the start of that finals poll, and it will end Wednesday, May 25th during the podcast. So yeah.
And you may be saying, "Wow, it's a lot of dates. It's super confusing."
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. This week is round 1.
Yes.
Next week is round 2.
Yep.
And then the finals week happens the week after.
Exactly. Great way to sum it up. So guys, I'm gonna pass this to you here. Ro, do you want to get us started here on your list here of best?
Are we gonna alternate row?
Sure.
One. From
Yeah,
me, one
we can
from
go back
you,
and
one
forth.
from you? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So for mine, I'm going to start with Sleeping Dogs is one of my picks for best open world game. I think I could testify that this game has held the test of time because I played it like 2 years ago, and that game came out not 2 years ago,
No.
but it still holds up as a really great open world game. And the story is fantastic. I love having to choose between my life as a detective or my life as part of the Triad, and having that family aspect as well. With I'm blanking on his name, but I'll come back around to it. I'll search it up in the meantime. But what I really enjoyed about Sleeping Dogs was obviously the story, but the combat is so fun. And being able to do those finishers on the enemies. The gunplay is not so great, but what makes Sleeping Dogs special is definitely the hand-to-hand combat, and it's so fun to just go through those little side missions and just beat up some bad guys, man, or beat up some cops, just like anything. It's just so fun to just like throw somebody off a building and just like it's so fun. But yeah, Sleeping Dogs is definitely my first one that I'm going to pick right now. It's not perfect everywhere, but it's a lot of fun.
The martial arts in that game is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I agree. For me, I had 11 options when I first made this, and I had to kind of cut down. And I'm playing the list because Gage and Dan are going next week. So before the show started, we kind of talked, and I could see what kind of games are going to be going into theirs. And so I took those out. I did want to give a few shout outs real quick. I threw in Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain as one of the best open worlds because I think the mission structure of how the open world works makes for a really great gameplay loop, even though I don't love the game. And then I want to throw in Arkham City as well. Not my favorite of the Arkham games. I think Arkham Asylum is my favorite. More Metroidvania, I think, just spoke to me more. But City, like the side quests alone, make for some of the best like Arkham content. So shout out Arkham City. I have to start mine with Elden Ring. I have to. I've talked about it at length, so I won't do that now. I just think it's a phenomenally designed open world game we will see its influence in the years to come as much as we did with like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in terms of like gameplay design. So Elden Ring is my first.
Nice.
That shocks everyone.
Yeah, no one saw that coming.
Yeah, the guy wearing the Bloodborne shirt. Yeah.
So for my second one, we're doing 4, right? 4, 6?
4.
Okay. Yes. All right. So for my second one, I'm actually surprised that I'm picking this one because I was going to pick Sunset Overdrive, and then I looked back at the gameplay. And I was like, I enjoyed this game, but surprisingly, I think I enjoyed this game more. And this is weird because of all the topics we've said about Ubisoft and how weird they are these days.
Ooh.
But I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2, like a lot.
Yes.
And I love that game for its characters. And I think they did the hacking systems a lot better than the first one. And just being able to play around with cars and different street elements was really fun. And going through it stealthily, which is something that I honestly hate doing in video games. I hate doing stealth. I love going guns blazing. It was actually really fun. So if a game can get me to enjoy the stealth, I know that I don't know that it's good, but it works for me. And Watch Dogs 2 worked for me. And yeah, I think the characters are super good. I cried when one of the characters bit the dust. There was a certain character that I was like, why'd they do this to him? And yeah, I really liked Watch Dogs 2. So that's my second pick for best open world game.
That is not what you put on the doc here. So for a while, I thought you were talking about something else. So.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't write it down because I removed my last one.
Yeah. Okay.
But sorry.
Okay.
Sorry if that was on your list, Christian. I apologize.
No. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Let me add it here real quick. After the fact.
While Christian debates, I would just say, like, Watch Dogs 2, it had more character because of, Marcus Holloway, I think was his name. Like, he was way more character infused than, like, Watch Dogs Legion, where they were just like, yeah, you can play as literally anyone.
Right.
Like, it just loses some of that, like, personality, I feel like, when you do that.
Yeah, and Aiden, famously the first protagonist, was just
awful.
like so stale.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with some smaller games that you would not expect, and leave some bigger games towards the end. Just because there's a chance Gage might pick it, but so I'm still thinking about this. I'm gonna go with Skate 3 as an option for my best open world game. And why, you may say that? Personally, I think Skate 1 is more fun of a game, but Skate 3 is designed from top to bottom to be the most fun skate game, no matter where you are on the map. Like, everything in that world is meant to be like some kind of set piece, or just, you can do sessions like in throughout the entire environment. And if that's not enough for you, you can at any point use like spawn markers or whatever to like bring in ramps or tables or rails to create like your own set pieces, which I think makes for like a completely amazing skate game that people are still using to this day. Like, I get Skate 3 TikToks like pretty much nonstop, and there's a run that everyone does called jumping the bridge gap, that there's still techniques to this day to get like the most speed and the biggest gap. So Skate 3 is my second pick.
Okay.
My next one gonna be Ghost of Tsushima. I really enjoyed this one too. I know I keep saying that for every single game that I mentioned here, but that's why they're on my list. Ghost of Tsushima, fantastic. I love the story. Being able to choose between honor and the way of the ghost. I don't remember what it was called, but I guess dishonor. And having that, well, I don't want to spoil it, but having to debate which is the quote unquote right choice for Jin, and having to deal with his family struggles and the actual island of Tsushima, trying to protect it. And I just thought that story was really cool and really well done. But the open world was beautiful. Like, I knew I loved this game like from the start, where you like are on your horse and you're going through that field, and then the title hits. It's like, gives me chills every time. I love that scene, and the rest of the game is just as beautiful. I think for me, like, the side missions were really fun as well. Like, I thought it like beautifully wove its way into the main story as well. It's not, they're like they're their own stories, but if you're paying attention to what's being said and what's being said in the stories, they also like beautifully meld into the actual main story. For me, I think they did it really well. But the best part of Ghost of Tsushima is the duels. Going around and finding those like little the characters that were waiting for you to battle them. They're so cinematic and so fun. The duels are just like my favorite part of that game. And yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is my third pick. Best open world.
Kirik agrees with you in the chat. He says Ghost was brilliant.
So good.
So
I love that game.
Make sure you vote for it then, Kirik.
Bro, as someone who didn't like Ghost of Tsushima very much, I will say the arenas with the duels were some of the best content in that game.
So good.
It was so freaking good.
Just make a game of that, honestly. Just having me go to duel to duel. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm gonna remove one from my list right now. Actually,
I would say you could still, if it's the one we were talking about, you could still pick it, because I think he was debating between that and the original game. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think he wrote down the first game when he first wrote it down.
Yeah.
Talking about these? You talking about the one I'm highlighting right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave either the first or the second for Gage, just in case.
Okay.
So instead, my third game will be The Witcher 3, which is the one game that like finally sold me on RPGs. Like, it converted me. And like, for it to be the third game in the series and to be that enthralling, to be that well written, for me, like, to still think about some of the side quests in that game as like moments that are like extremely powerful and still subvert expectations for what side quest content can be. Yeah, and even just main quests, like how like for these characters that I didn't even know and end up like still caring about, that I still do, right? And I'm excited for the fourth installment. Yeah, Witcher 3, just an absolute S tier or RPG, and like what I would say is a great open world game.
Definitely. And that's a game that I never really clicked with me, but it would be crazy for me to say that that's not a good game. Like, I know how important The Witcher 3 is and how fantastic the story is and the open world is, all that stuff. It's just not something that clicked with me. I guess the same way that Ghost didn't click with Christian. But for me, my final pick gotta be Marvel Spider-Man. It's such a good game story-wise. The final battle in that game is so good. The dialogue, the emotions, so good. But the open world is amazing. I think we've talked about it before on the show. When fast travel is unlocked, I didn't need it. I never used it. No matter how far the mission was, like if it was on the other side of the map and I was on the side of the map, I would swing to it, no matter how long it took, because it was so fun to traverse in that game. The web swinging is amazing. Just like bouncing off the buildings, the parkour is fantastic. Parkour is fantastic. And I platinumed that game because of how fun it was to traverse and just do the little side missions in there. And I think what makes an open world really good is when you want to be in that open world for as long as possible and just do random stuff and not just progress the main story. And Spider-Man definitely did that. And I just wanted to do everything in that game. So yeah, Spider-Man is definitely my favorite, and I love the combat. Yeah.
Damn, you ran down 5 answers.
I just changed my answer live here because of certain things. I'll discuss it next week, when it's my turn.
I hope that one doesn't win. Because
Why?
No, never mind. Nah, I'll stop.
I'll explain why. Next week.
Okay. I'll have to listen in. I actually am taking one of my mine away, and I'm saving that for a different category. So I'm going to say this as an honorable mention now. I originally had The Witness as best open world. I think what that game does in terms of like puzzles via its open world is like one of the best design games I've ever played. But I think I would want to save it for like some kind of puzzle game category. So I'm taking that one away. There was another game that I want to do that I wanted to use, but I'm betting that Gage will put this game, so I won't say it. Shoot. Ro, do you have an honorable mention real quick that you can use to fill time?
Yeah, sure. Well, the one that I was going to pick was Sunset Overdrive. I really, again, like similar to Spider-Man, I love the traversal in that game, and it's just so fun to just bounce off of everything and just literally bounce off of everything. Like you were like jumping buildings in that game. It was super fun. The combat is super fun.
It was like,
and I really,
sorry.
Yeah. No, go for it.
I was just gonna say it was like a skate game too, like with the grinding and stuff. It was so cool, like how they
little combos that you would do.
Yeah,
trying to there was really cool combos, like trying to make how long I think if I'm remembering this correctly, like you would grind and then you would jump off of it and then just keep going and just trying to have a really long streak while you're traversing the world. And I thought that game was kind of funny. Like I thought the writing was really well done. I know not everybody thought it was clever, but I really liked it. And the characters were surprisingly grew on me, and they're just really stupid caricatures, but I had a fun time with the characters in that world, and it was surprisingly a good time.
Very colorful world too. Yes. Like, so many colors. Love it.
Too many colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling an audible here.
Okay.
Ooh.
I have a new honorable mention. Nier Automata. I absolutely love that game. I love the story. And I think the open world in that game, the way it uses like side quests and in its environment to like really reflect on the game's themes is phenomenal. However, I am pulling one of my honorable mentions that I'd said already in the past, and making that one of my official picks, and it's Arkham City.
Nice. That's the biggest turnaround in history right there, ladies and gentlemen. Heck yeah. Okay.
And I think Kirk in the chat asked, vote where? And I said it
Yes.
would be up tomorrow. Is it that true, or is that Friday we're putting up the first poll?
So the first poll on Friday, we
Okay.
will put it
My
up.
bad.
So Rose picks, essentially, to explain it again for Kirik and everybody else, because I know it's a little confusing. I'll just say to vote on Christian and Rose picks. So each of them chose 4 games. We're going to post Rose 4 games on Friday in a poll, and you choose which of the 4 that you want to advance to the finals. Once that vote concludes on Saturday, we'll have that answer, for the finals poll. Sunday, Christians will start, and then it will go to Monday. And then once his 4 games are chosen, people will vote on their favorites of Christian's picks. That game will go to the finals. And then next week we'll address me and Gage individually, and then we will talk about what's in the final 4 in 2 weeks, I guess.
I gotta say, it hurts because there are games that I think would probably be in my best open world game that I can't pick because of other people who have selected them. So
Yes.
keep an eye on next week.
That's exactly, because we were talking about it last week, and I was like, I really want this game, but okay, I won't take it. I'll think of something else.
But this is good because it'll make for an exciting finals.
Yes, that's true.
Definitely. It was pretty easy for me to choose because I kind of was first to dibs, so I admit that. But I don't play a lot of open world games, so like this was kind of kind of easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
And
guys.
not much to choose from. Yes.
Moving into what you got for me. I guess I'll start us off here with a little bit of a rant. No, I've been in communication with Juan from Microsoft Support Executive Team. I got this contact, which I have speculation on how I got this contact, but I don't know for sure if this is how I got it, so I won't say it yet. But I plan on asking him at the end if he resolves my issue. Like, how did you contact? Who made you contact me or whatever? But anyways. Yeah, so I'm still waiting to get into my account. Hopefully, some point. I got an email back from him today, actually, because he asked me if I have 2-factor enabled on my account, and I was like, oh no. He's going to say, because I have 2-factor, like someone else had already told me, another support person had said, well, you have 2-factor enabled, we can't help you. He asked me if I had 2-factor enabled. I'm like, oh God, we're going down this rabbit hole again. So I sent him a long thing, and I said, yes, I have it enabled, as you should have it enabled.
You guys suggest we do. Yeah.
Right. And he's like, oh, no. I don't mean anything like that. He's just like, we're just making sure for verification of your account purposes. I was like, okay, all right. I'm just making sure that, you're not going to say no or whatever. So he's still investigating, whatever that means. He's been investigating for 2 days now. I don't know. Hopefully there's a resolution coming soon. I'm not sure right now, but fingers are crossed everywhere. And also, I just finished last night my first pass on my Summer Games hype video for Friday. I'm planning on launching it at 1 p.m. Eastern on my personal channel. So if you want to find that, you can find me. Dan is DTM on Twitter. I'll post it there, and it'll be on YouTube. So, yeah, it's normally my E3 hype video, but Summer Games hype video this year. So.
Can you send it to our DM on Twitter as well? That way I can catch it.
Yeah,
because I'll be mostly off my phone, but I want to see this. So
absolutely, you can hear me yell about the games. All right, so Ro, what you got for me?
This week I was off of school, so I was able to actually play a video game, or last week I should say. And I played the heck out of Citizen Sleeper on Xbox Game Pass. I was supposed to play Trek Chiyomi. I was supposed to play Loot River. I was like, you know what? This looks kind of cool. So I decided to play this. And I loved it. It's so good. I've rolled credits on it, but I'm not technically done it. There's still some storylines that I still have to wrap up. But yeah, it's really cool. It's essentially a visual novel with tabletop game elements in it, where you're on this space station. You are an AI. You're an android with a human brain, and they go into that story a little bit more, and it's really cool. But you're using dice to perform actions, and depending on the type of dice that you use, determines whether the outcome of the action that you're performing is positive, neutral, or negative. So you could be working a shift at a bar, and if you roll a 2, you have a 50% chance of a neutral outcome or a 50% being a negative outcome, and that just basically means you may lose energy, or you may get a nice tip if it's a neutral outcome. And there's a whole bunch of systems that it'll take me forever to explain, so I won't go too much into that, but I'll instead talk about how awesome the story is and the characters and how quickly I was able to grow attached to them. And the story is like really well written. So yeah, if you're interested in a good story, I would say hop in and give it a shot. The systems aren't super hard to understand. They give you a fantastic tutorial right out the gate, so you'll be good to go and just enjoy the story. But yeah, I really enjoyed the tabletop stuff, though. That was honestly the most fun that I had, trying to manage my character and also progress the stories before something bad were to happen. Like, some of this is timed as well, so you have to make sure an outcome happens by a certain time, or else a character is going to face a bad outcome, or you're going to face a bad outcome. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed Citizen Sleeper, and I'm hoping to wrap up the remaining story threads when I have some more time. But yeah, it's really good. It's on my top 2022 games
wow.
of this year now. Yeah, it's awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Everyone go play Cyberpunk Disco Elysium.
That's sick. That's sick. And there's no excuse to not play it, right? Because it's in Game Pass. Wait, there is an excuse because I don't have my account. I'm just kidding.
Damn.
I'm kidding.
Find a way, Dan.
Yeah. Christian, what you got? Oh, sorry.
No, this leads into what you got for me. Ro, you have no idea how bad I wanted to play this game this week, but I, for the first time, did not have the time. I said, I'll start with Trek to Yomi, and then I'll do Citizen Sleeper. And then I hadn't. And then now I'm leaving. When am I going to play Citizen Sleeper? Like, when I get back.
Hopefully. It's really good. I think you'll like it.
I know, dude. I know. It's so up my alley. So I played Trek to Yomi, and I was severely disappointed by it. Like, it was not fun to play. I was listening to some reviews, and I couldn't agree more that, like, I think shot composition and art style are by far the best things about this game. Like, it is, like, really incredible what they're doing with composition and with blocking. Like, that cinematography in the game is very reminiscent of a lot of its inspirations from samurai movies, and seeing that in a game is like phenomenal. For me, where it falls is the combat. It is so not good. That combat, it just feels so awkward. Like, the blocking and parry timing is weirdly very close, and the animations that happen when you do a successful parry does not indicate that, like, you have done it. Like, and then, like, your character is like a step back, and then you can't do anything, and it resets, like, the animation. So if you were trying to parry, it would just, like, it will reset the animation, and then it'll start going in for an attack because you already pressed the button. By that time, an enemy might have been, like, going in for an attack, so, like, it leaves you open. It's like, oh, I thought I got the timing right, and that it didn't happen, I guess. So now I'm down a hit. Luckily, the game is, like, super generous with their checkpoint system, that it doesn't feel like I don't have to backtrack very far. Like, I'll be in the room before it, so it's nothing too huge, but it just makes for a not fun game when all the combat just feels very stiff. And I got about halfway through the game, and I called it. I was like, I'm not enjoying this enough, and I bounced.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, very much a bummer. I mean, but, like, I still appreciate it as an art form, though. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still happy I gave it the chance. So shout out to Game Pass.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And I mentioned, also I mentioned earlier some stuff about Off the Grid, and I'll give my thoughts here on Off the Grid real quick. First, I think playing with battle royale in terms of, like, genre, I think is very freaking cool. Like, that to me, like, speaks so much more than, like, uninspired stuff that Ubisoft does with, like, their battle royales, where it's like, no, this is doing, like, an interesting take. Like, it's a different genre. It's dystopian, and it's doing something with its mechanics that makes actual gameplay different than other battle royales. That makes it stand out. And I think that on that front is really cool. But this leads into what is my actual what you got for me, which is I have submitted my first article pitch to a major video game website, because I was hit with the idea that We need more games that are climate forward art. And cyberpunk and dystopias are too much in the zeitgeist, which are making us kind of doomers about climate change altogether. One of the first games that did that on a big scale was Horizon Forbidden West. And so I pitched an article about it. So inshallah, I get to write it.
Look, that would be
sick.
awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's another game that you could reference is Alba's Wildlife Adventure. Fun game.
What game
and
is
it's
this?
all Alba's Wildlife Adventure, and it's all about saving an island by cleaning it up and saving the animals. It's definitely aimed towards kids, but I played all of it and it was
Ooh.
awesome. But yeah.
This is like in the periphery of what I'm talking about. Like my specific subgenre is solar punk.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So not eco-critical kind of, but this is cool. I didn't know about this game.
I'm
So I may
excited
use
for
it as
this
a
article.
reference. Yeah. And if the article doesn't happen, if that gets, I'm gonna pitch it to probably like 2 more sites. If that doesn't happen, then congratulations, you two know about my next video essay.
Very nice. Yeah, that'd be really cool. And of course, climate change is a big issue that needs more exposure that doesn't seem to get the exposure. But
We are so doomed. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Whoa! Solar punk art seeks to eradicate that altogether, and wants you to be hopeful about the future.
I saw this really cool commercial. I think it was a water bottle commercial, and it was solar punk aesthetic, and it looks awesome. I'll try and find it.
Whoa!
Oh god,
What the
happened?
heck?
My thumb.
What
Jeez.
happened?
I had a callus, like an injury from the gym earlier. Like part of my skin got caught, and it ruptured recently, like during the show. So I'm
Ouch.
bleeding.
Gosh. Get some first aid for the man.
I got a tissue.
All right, guys. Moving into the topic of the show, we've got a bunch of sales data and earnings reports, but we are going to give our impressions on the backs of the news stories that came off of these items. Sony has officially confirmed PlayStation 5 has shipped 19.3 million units to date, with 1.3 million in the previous quarter. PS4's numbers are currently at 117.2 million, which is it's insane for PS4. It is interesting, though. Sony has apparently missed its PS5 sales targets, and amid their stock struggles, PS5 shipments were down to 1.3 million this quarter from the previous 3.3 million shipped in the same period last year. And of course, it's not due to people not being interested. It's due to supply chain issues. And I guess my question, because, well, first let me go into this last story for Sony, and then I'll ask you a question. But Sony is also investing $300 million more into its first-party games on multiple platforms, which, I mean, reading between the lines, it seems to indicate more PC ports of their PlayStation exclusives, which makes a lot of sense. And it would get a lot of goodwill from a lot of people. But Sony seems to think over the next year they're going to double their PlayStation 5 totals from 19.3 million. They're going to get another 19 million. Do we think that the supply chain is going to be able to handle that? Because I'm reading this and I'm like, how are we going to double in a year after these supply chain issues? Like, are these going to persist? I really hope these supply chain issues get figured out and they do hit those numbers, because that means we're going well.
There was an article a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago at this point, that they were talking about the chip shortage. And if I remember that article correctly, they, and by they I refer to experts in this field, were speculating that they expect this chip shortage to go on into 2023,
Right?
And possibly even like you won't see like this ease down and get better until 2024. There was a lot of talk about like now is not the best time to buy a new car.
No.
Because like in newer cars you use these kinds of chips, and they're like using like cheaper alternatives because there are no chips. So like you should not be buying 2022, 2023, 2024 cars. That's what the article said. But I don't see how Sony is how they'll be able to do that. Like if anything, I feel like the chip shortage is getting like marginally worse as we go along, not better. I think it's skewing negatively. So yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I mean, if they say they can do it, then power to them.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like the demand's at an all-time high for gaming consoles in general, not just PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, everyone. And we're just in such a precarious position that no one can keep consoles in stock. I mean, Xbox seems to be doing better now, but it's insane.
Yeah, I just want a PS5. I
Yeah.
want one so bad. I mean, even if they were, again, every time I say this, even if they were available, I probably wouldn't be able to pick one up right now just because I need to save money for school and all that stuff. But yeah, as Dan said, it's like it sucks. It really sucks to be someone who doesn't have one, has the financial stability to purchase one, and they just can't. They just want to play some PS5 games, and because of the chip shortage, they just can't. I don't. Well, you can if you have a lot of money. If you just go on eBay and get one. But
with the Gotham Knights delay, or the Gotham Knights cancellation, you soon may not be able to play.
That's so true. Games. Yeah, there's going to be more and more games that probably abandon next gen in a couple of years. Like there might be some 2022 games that are coming up, 2023 games coming up that I'll have to wait until 2025 to play, maybe, or not me, but like people who are in the market for a PS5 and don't have a PS4, or have a PS4 and those games aren't coming there anymore. So yeah, they definitely need to supply the demand.
Even like VR, which if Sony wants PSVR 2 to be successful, right? Like not only do they have to worry about the amount of units they can create because of the chip shortage, but like the pool of people who are going to buy this are much smaller because just they have less consoles out in the wild. So yeah.
Yeah, will Sony manufacturing VR headsets, will that take away from their supply of consoles?
Yeah. True.
Very interesting. Now moving on from that, we've got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to shout out Kira Croc in the chat. He said, "Don't hate me. I just got my second PS5 on Saturday."
Oh, hell yeah!
Good for you. Good for you.
Where's Kirik? I need Kirik to like link me to this stuff because I think I'm in the market for a second PS5. No, hold on. Not because I want to, because I want to sell my first one.
Okay.
Oh. And you may ask
That's
why.
A good idea. Yeah.
You may ask why, Christian. Well, I want to be able to watch Blu-rays because I have the digital console. I want the disc one now.
That makes sense. Fair. Yeah. Good for you, Kurok. Send us that link. Where are you going to get these PS5s?
Just get an Xbox Series S, as we talked about last week when I was stupidly remembering that it's not. It doesn't have a disc. Yeah. Moving into some Nintendo stuff, guys. Nintendo Switch has officially shipped 107.65 million Switch consoles in total since its launch in March of 2017. 5 years, 107 million. That is insane. I mean, on the backs of the Wii U that did awful.
Yeah, and this is interesting because there's an article that I think came out today where the president of Nintendo Japan, Shintaro Furukawa, has said the company's eventual transition away from Nintendo Switch to its next hardware platform is, quote, a major concern for the company. And as you just said with the Wii U stuff, like that can happen again. Yeah. Like they worked really hard to get this 107 million, and Switch is like a hit. And I'm sure they're not rushing to make a next console, but eventually that time will come. We're already 5 years into it, and 6 years is usually the area where they switch. No pun intended, but I do feel like the Switch life cycle is going to be a little bit longer than most because of its success. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're able to retain this audience, and that's what the article goes on to say, that's what they're trying to work on, to keep these people for the next cycle of consoles coming up. But it'll be interesting to see if they're able to keep the success going, because the Wii was awesome and then the Wii U came out. Dude, hopefully it doesn't happen again to them.
I was thinking about the Wii this week and about how hard Nintendo went on the games. Like I think it's easy for us to forget. Like Nintendo put out so many games on the Wii, even for like their existing stuff. Like they were like toying around with different like like Mario Sport. Like I think all the sports games were available on Wii. Maybe not tennis, but like when I think about the Switch, maybe now it's better. Like it is insane how successful the Switch is when you think about like the games that are on it. Like aside from Breath of the Wild, maybe and Mario Odyssey, like the other games are just it's successful games are ports of older games like Mario Kart and no, I take that back. Smash Ultimate is a new game, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So my argument is falling apart as I speak, but still, like some of the Mario Kart is like the most successful Mario Kart, and it's like it's a port of an older game, right? And like it doesn't feel like there are newer first party games coming to Switch as often as like I felt like they were with older consoles, but like the games they are shipping are phenomenal games, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land is like the most recent of those. Like great reception from its release.
And to piggyback off of that, Christian, Kirby sold 2.1 million units in its first 2 weeks, which is an astronomical number. And to kind of go on the backs of what you were saying there, like as far as franchises go, their Switch sales this year for their games, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, 14.65 million copies. That's pretty good. Pokemon Legends Arceus, which of course is the new open world format of Pokemon, 12.65 million. Mario Party Superstars, 6.88 million. Skyward Sword HD, 3.91 million. Which that seems low to me, but I guess Skyward Sword isn't necessarily as high on people's minds. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still fucking just killing it. So pardon my language. 9.94 million. Animal Crossing at 6 million in the last year, so 38 million total for Animal Crossing. That's insane. Woo!
Insane. And yeah, Pokemon Gen 9 is this year too, so that's going to do crazy numbers as well. Even more people are going to have, even more Switches are going to be out there by then as well. But even like you were talking about Kirby, like it's a popular franchise, but it doesn't sell Mario numbers, obviously. But like franchises like Kirby and Metroid are like having like a really great resurgence with the Switch and getting new fans like myself. I never played a Metroid game, and now I consider myself at least a small Metroid fan. Again, I still haven't played all the other games, but I'm definitely interested in the next one now, and that's because I was able to play Metroid Dread on the Switch, and
235 million games sold on the Switch in 2021 for Nintendo. The most ever for them. That's insane.
Yes, I could definitely see why they're worried about the next one, because this is like you said, this is the best they've ever done. So,
and they do have some good games coming this year. They posted a little graphic, or Jeff Keighley posted a little graphic from their little earnings call or whatever, with games coming. And you got June 10th, Mario Strikers, Fire Emblem Warriors, June 24th, Monster Hunter, Sunbreak. Yes, that's one of my games. June 30th. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, July 29th. Splatoon 3, September 9th. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, late 2022. And yes, Bayonetta 3 is still coming 2022. So Christian can enjoy some of that Bayonetta action.
Yeah. If you're going to enjoy
why do you single me out? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ro. You have a legit take, but I have to go first. Why do you single me out?
Because you're gonna take it after dark and take it into the wee hours of the night.
I still need to finish Bayonetta 2. Start it.
That's true. Ro is a big fan as well.
I still have to finish 1. I do enjoy it though. I do really like it, but I'm still playing through the first one. But I need to finish that before we get there. What I was going to say is, like, Christian, if you're going to enjoy Bayonetta, let Daisy join Strikers again. Why is she hanging out with you anyway, huh?
Yeah, you like that picture? She's busy.
I did like it, but I'm also a little mad.
All right. Capcom news, guys. Capcom has reported another year of record high profits driven by its digital content business. 32.6 million sold video games during this fiscal year. Resident Evil Village has reached 6.1 million in sales. Monster Hunter... Wait, is that Monster Hunter? I don't even know what that is. MHS 2.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Okay. sold 1.5 million units. So Capcom's still doing some good work, which they are still on the upturn of their, comeback. They've been doing amazing work lately in the last few years. So major props to them. And Resident Evil 6.1 million, that's pretty good for a horror genre. It's kind of a niche genre nowadays. So that's cool to see. Hopefully we get some more Resident Evil. You guys want to see
niche genre, but like still a big franchise name though. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. It's still sad to me that Resident Evil 6 is the highest selling game in the franchise though, because that game's awful. It's terrible. It's not good. Christian, this next one will excite you though. Bandai Namco announced Elden Ring has exceeded 13.4 million units as of March 31st. That is quite the quite the accomplishment. I think their previous game, somebody said that they sold 2 million over 10 days, which this is a huge jump over that. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, when did this game come out? Was it late February? So in a little over a month, it sold 13 million, which is insane for not just a Souls game, but a Souls open world game, which had they had never made a game like this. For it to be this rated as one of the best games ever made, according to Metacritic, or it was OpenCritic, one of those two. It's in the top 10. Insane. No longer are these niche games. I think now From Software is a household video game name that even if you hadn't played them, you know what these games are about. And more importantly, I think this is great to see people giving it a try, even if you find out it's not for you. We can appreciate that these games are not more accessible, but they seem to be skewing more approachable. No longer is the fear of the get good mentality kind of pushing people away. That's still there, but I think there are more people being open about trying these experiences than ever before, and more people willing to help those that have never played a game From Software game before. So this is very cool news.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely. Heck yeah, go get them From Soft.
Go get them. Make some more games Christian can play.
And I still want to try Elden Ring. I haven't done it yet, but piggybacking off of what Christian said, I definitely want to give it a shot. It does seem more approachable as well, and just everything that everybody's saying, I gotta give it a shot someday.
EA news, guys. EA will officially end its partnership with FIFA for naming rights of their game after this year's game. In the future, it's going to be called EA Sports FC instead. And then FIFA goes on to claim that they will always make the best game. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's my question is you guys are claiming that you're always going to make the best game. You don't even know who's going to make the game, because EA has historically, and of course, not to say that EA doesn't have problems in all of this, but EA's been making soccer games for the last 30 years or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're a lot more equipped to make a soccer game than insert developer here, whoever the FIFA will partner with. It's kind of like the MLB. The MLB partners with a developer to make an official MLB game that is awful, terrible. It's not a good game. The show is the best game out there for MLB. But yeah, it was funny to me reading that FIFA was oh yeah, we'll be fine. We don't need them.
Because FIFA is tremendously out of touch with its fans, and they're talking out their ass. They're very corrupt. They have no idea what's going on. They will not make a good game if they do make a game at all. And this is just them being prideful with an announcement, because they're insane. From what I've read, just asking for just for using the name FIFA alone, demanding. They're, oh my god. You think EA is bad? FIFA is the worst company out there, demanding They just all they care about is making as much money as possible, and not caring what happens. The World Cup is this year. They're building this in Qatar. You know how many people are dying building this stadium right now? So many people.
Oh god.
And they don't care as long as the stadium gets built by December, right? Yeah. Good luck, FIFA. But screw you.
but not really. Yeah, you would think that would be a match made in heaven, like EA and FIFA wanting to just make a quick buck, but no, like one is obviously those two opposites, or not opposites, those two personalities are just clashing, I guess. But I don't see this working out for either of them. Like the name change I don't think is going to work for like the casual audience that plays not everybody is casual, but I'm just saying that the general audience of the sports games is usually not the hardcore gamers, and them may not be aware of this news and then see EA Sports FC. It may not sell as well as EA FIFA games. And FIFA, if they do decide to make a game, it's not going to play as well as an EA game, and people are going to catch on to that quickly and not buy them. So I don't think this is going to work out for FIFA the way that they think, and I think EA is definitely going to suffer from losing the name as well.
I think you're spot on with that, Ro. I agree with that completely. It's going to be it'll be interesting. And maybe Bobby Kotick's next adventure, when hopefully Microsoft kicks him to the curb if they get acquired, is he'll become president of FIFA, because the swamp will continue to. Yeah, that'll just,
I hope not.
Make a bad company worse. Yeah.
My God.
But also quickly here, EA announced some upcoming games as well, which kind of teased a little bit. They said there's 4 unannounced games coming from January to March 2023, a major IP, a partner title, a remake, and another sports title. And supposedly these are all unannounced. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys had any ideas for any of them, or I'm curious what the remake's going to be, because obviously we're getting the Dead Space remake, but that's already been revealed. So I don't know if that's just oversight on their behalf, or if this is going to be something else. I don't know.
Time for Mirror's Edge to return.
Oh, are you kidding me? But if they did, I don't think it'd be a remake, right? I think it'd probably be like another installment. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that'll be the major. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know enough about EA's catalog besides Mirror's Edge to make an educated guess. But it'd be interesting to see.
Because they've got more remakes, right? They've got Prince of Persia. That's Ubisoft. They've got What is Splinter Cell? I think Ubisoft is doing that as well.
Yep.
But I just don't know if they're considering those, right? Or even if Splinter Cell will be a remake or not, right? So, damn. I know we talk crap about Ubisoft a lot, understandably so. And yet, like, when I look at this tweet and I see that they're working on stuff, like, I don't know. I kind of get excited for the potential of, like, they can still make good games, I believe.
For UB, you're talking about?
You mean EA you're talking about?
UB or EA?
Oh my God, I clicked on the wrong article.
You're good.
I'm looking ahead, dude. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And some people are speculating that the sports game that EA is referring to is the college football sports game that they announced a few years ago, but they said it's coming back. So maybe we'll see a college football game return next year. Yeah.
But no wonder you guys were like, oh, yeah. You mean?
I was confused for a second, but no. Well, speaking of UB, Christian, moving to our last story here, Ubisoft plans to ship the following games by March 31st, 2023. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Mario plus Rabbids: Sparks of Hope, and Skull and Bones. Please cancel it. I think it'll be interesting to see what Avatar turns into, because we really haven't seen anything from it. And it's being made by Massive, who made The Division and The Division 2, etc. So I'm intrigued to see what that is, but like obviously this can't be all the games they're planning to release by March 31st, right? Like surely they have other stuff coming, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, the Battle Royale.
Yeah, they got XDefiant up their sleeve.
Yeah.
Probably the Division's Homeland thing as well.
True.
I would hope.
True.
Out of these, I'm definitely excited for Mario Rabbids.
Yeah.
But the other two, I know I've heard bad things about Skull and Bones and Avatar. We just, as you said, we haven't seen that much yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe UB can make a good game sometime.
I mean, I'm hedging my bets on these Prince of Persia games.
It's
both the 2D and the remake.
they did move developers for the remake, so maybe that'll bode well for it. Guys, anything else before we close out the show?
Yes. Shout out Hillary Duff.
Oh, thank you, Hillary. Thank you for that. You really made my week, man. Thank you.
Wait, what happened?
Nothing.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. Lizzie
tell you
McGuire. We'll talk about it in the after show, after dark. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Roshan. I don't know why I have a Roro still there.
It's fine.
Roshan. Ro. I usually say Ro, I think, but Roshan.
No
Christian,
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got one this week.
Yeah, you did. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Thank you, Daniel, as well. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.